Welcome to this week's Hootie and JJ Show. I'm Hootie, Jerry Ratcliffe, and JJ is Coach Jeff Jones. And we have two special guests today from wherever you're viewing us from on YouTube or any platform out there that you can find your favorite podcasts on. We ask you to share and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, just helps us build and makes us a better product for you. Um, this week we have two former Wahoos of distinction. I think you were both captains in their playing days. And we're talking about Norman Nolan and Curtis Staples, along with Coach Jones. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
Jerry.
for having me.
Yeah. JJ, before we get too deep into their careers, talk a little bit about recruiting these two guys and how you, when you were designing that particular roster, where did you feel that they could fit in and help you most in the ACC?
Well, looking at those guys, they were both great high school players. Uh, All American type players. Norman was up at Baltimore Dunbar, great high school program, and we had never recruited up there, so that was a new one. Bob is deciding he wants to go on a walk here.
That's okay.
Um,
We all
but
have dogs.
we just had to work really, really hard to separate ourselves. Brian Ellerby did a great job of, recruiting Norm being the lead guy. And then Curtis was a guy from the state of Virginia. Obviously, he was at was it Flint Hill, Kurt?
It was at Prospect Call, the same
Prospect Hall.
program. Yeah, same program.
Yeah. And then went to Oak Hill his last year. But I remember with Curtis going down to going down to Roanoke on a Saturday morning, being nobody else was in the YMCA.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, fellas. Nobody else was in the YMCA but Curtis and myself. And we were down there for probably 3 hours. And if you ever wondered, how did Curtis become such a great shooter? All that hard work, 3 hours of me just sitting there watching him, and Curtis doing his own shooting routine for 3 hours. It was pretty remarkable. So we were thrilled to be able to get both of those guys in that recruiting class.
Yeah, they both ended up with outstanding careers for Virginia, no question. And uh, you guys had some really good records during their careers. Um, see, and I guess it really came to fruition in the 94-95 season when you guys went 25-9 and 12-4 in the conference and came within almost that close of getting into the Final Four. And you guys were honored, you too, JJ, this past weekend at John Paul Jones Arena for that great season. Part of the Virginia Basketball Alumni Club reunion, I guess. And Ryan Odom and his program honored you guys for that great season. What Curtis and Norman, what did that mean to you to get reconnected with today's fans and today's team and just be honored for your accomplishments?
Uh,
We'll take
well,
that, Kurt. I'll join in after.
yeah. So I mean, it to me, it was just a wonderful touch. In the previous years, we hadn't, we haven't. A lot of us haven't really seen one another in terms of that team. We talked a lot. We do have a thread that a lot of us talk on, a texting thread, but just seeing one another for that, those couple of days was pretty special. And I'm just thankful that um, Ryan, University, Carla, whoever was behind the scenes of making it happen. Just very thankful that they did that. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with Kirk. It just felt good to be back on campus.
Mm.
I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 30, 30 years,
That's
30
crazy.
plus.
Yeah.
So that's hard to believe. And then just seeing the transformation of the campus itself, and then being able to spend time with, former coaches and former players, and also getting the chance to interact with other guys that played, other generations, and other years was great as well. So definitely a nice touch by Ryan and his staff. Um, I wish we could do more of it. It just felt good to have everybody together.
JJ, it
Jerry,
hadn't meant a lot
I
to
was
you.
really happy for the guys on that team.
Yeah.
It's certainly 30 plus years removed. It was certainly time, but like echoing what both of these guys said, the fact that it was important enough to Ryan and his staff, particularly Michael Crowder. I think it's important to give him a shout out because that's kind of his thing, and he put it together for the weekend. But to see Norm and Kurt and Junior and Yuri and all those guys, get the recognition for that great year. It certainly made me happy for them to get that chance to get the standing ovation and the recognition. And guys, I don't know about you, but it was especially kind of cool. We've been able to get together, at my house, a number of times in the summer with a lot of the old crew. But guys like Percy Ellsworth, that was the first time. I mean, and Percy was obviously primarily a football player, but he was a pretty daggone good basketball player as well, and could have been, a big contributor if he was kind of a one sport guy, but football was his thing. A guy like Chase Matheny, not many of us have seen Chase in a while. So, even some of those guys that maybe hadn't had the opportunity to unite was kind of cool and made for a great weekend.
Norm and Curtis, what were the best stories told over the weekend? Anything come to mind?
Oh man,
So many.
It's a lot of stories. Everybody has their own, story for any given occasion. Personal stories with, interaction with Jeff at certain times of the year, personal stories with players and other players. It was just fun to reminisce. You sit back and you think, like we said, 30 plus years, and hell, I don't think some of the coaches are 30 years old yet, some of them. So, it's crazy to think it was that long ago, but it feels like yesterday because I still think I'm 25. So, it was just a ton of fun, Jerry. I mean, we can't even put it into words, man. Like we said, we got a thread with everybody on it, and just everybody just raved about how fun it was to be back, and then to see their families and to see their kids grow up. How old their kids and stuff are. It's just crazy where the time goes.
Jerry, it was interesting hearing some of these guys talk about the current team and the style that Ryan and his guys are playing.
Yeah.
I think Norman probably would have liked to get the green light to shoot the three when he was playing, because that sure as hell wasn't happening with me, Norm. I'm just telling you.
Hey, coach, but I'm a hell of a 3-point shooter.
You are now. You are now. when you were in college, I can't say that was the case.
Well, I can say that I never had the opportunity to show you. But
Norm, I saw you
feet
shoot
in,
before practice plenty of times.
Oh no,
that
coach,
thing came out and was flat. Curtis, help me out.
Hey, coach, I'm trying to tell you.
Shot.
I didn't know. we went to the gym a lot on the side, sometimes, and he would shoot. He could shoot pretty good when we were there. He just he just wasn't as consistent as he became
Right.
as a pro.
As a pro, yeah,
Yeah,
he got that old man touch.
he did.
Hey,
And he
hey, hey, Coach,
really
let me remind y'all, when we played a game in Richmond, I think we were playing either
did.
Richmond or Wake Forest at Richmond. And I had a second half where I went 19 straight, and me and Kirk was playing that pick and pop. And I popped like 15 to 18 feet and hit like 5 or 6 jumpers in a row.
Hey, 15 to 18 feet. I
No,
would
15
acknowledge
to
that.
18 feet, I was money. And plus,
But you're
and
talking
plus,
about the 3-point shots, Nolan.
I am. And plus, guys, fours weren't really shooting threes back then. I didn't get into that until I got overseas, and they made me start shooting threes. And then in the pro camps, they let me shoot some of the NBA threes. I had a New York camp where I was knocking down threes like crazy from NBA. I know they were like, "Where was this at in college?"
Yeah.
Hey, okay. So would you rather you shoot threes as a coach? You shoot threes, or let's run plays for Curtis to shoot threes?
Oh, we definitely gonna run plays for Kirk to shoot threes because we had that tandem going. It was that inside out that was working so well.
That's right.
I think you just got validated there, Joe.
Jerry, it's funny. Norm's mentioned a couple times the group text that we have, and this morning it's been going on, and the subject is Corey Alexander dunking on Chris Alexander in practice. It was up at North Grounds one time. I think actually Fish, the music group Fish, was playing in University Hall, so we couldn't practice there. We had to go up to North Grounds, and during that practice, Corey came down the middle and dunked on Big Chris. So there's been a lot of talk and back and forth on that all day long. So it's those kind of debates that's even when you aren't together, it's kind of fun.
Did Corey participate in that thread?
Oh yeah. To be
Okay.
honest, that thread is not just the 95 team. I mean, you've got Ralph and Ricky and Jimmy and Dan Merrifield and Greg Lyons, Anthony Oliver, Brian
We got
Smith.
about 40 people on that text,
Yeah.
40 former players from all
All
years. Yeah, all eras. Yep.
That's really good.
There's actually some Pete Gillen players, I think, on there that
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis Watson's on there. Yeah.
That's pretty
there
good.
was somebody on there that I had to ask who is he? Who did he play for?
He must have gone way back then. If you didn't know who he was.
Well, it was during Gillen or late those years.
Oh, okay. One of those guys. Yeah. All right. You guys are going to have give Corey some grief. He's the only guy that we can't get on a podcast. He says he doesn't do interviews. So you guys are going to have to give him some grief.
Did he really say that?
Yeah. I talked to him.
he-
He said, JJ, I love you and Jerry, but I don't do podcasts. I said, okay, whatever.
Okay. That's funny.
He didn't hesitate to mention today about I don't know if y'all caught it that he and Dickie V are doing the broadcast.
I saw that. I saw it.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I guess Dickie V's the exception. Curtis, JJ was talking a minute ago about watching you for 3 hours in the gym down there at Roanoke.
Yeah.
Where did your work ethic, your practice ethics come from? Was that something that you just personally acquired, or was you get pushed into that?
I think I acquired it. My dad was a hardworking guy. He started me, working with me early on when I was probably 6, 7 years old, whether it was football workouts, basketball workouts. I mean, he just put it in my mind that you always have to outwork people. And it was just a constant thing for me. I saw it as normal. I didn't realize that it was abnormal or that everybody didn't do that until much later. When I got to high school, I started running into guys that would just go to practice and leave right after practice, and or would never go in the gym afterwards or before. And I didn't realize that people didn't do that, because most of the guys that I played with coming up were older, but they were dedicated as well. I was fortunate to play with a lot of really good older players. Curtis Blair, who went to University of Richmond. George Lynch went to Carolina, of course. Troy Mans was my everyday running partner, and I was in public school. He went to Virginia Tech. So I constantly was around guys that went to the gym all the time, worked hard. So it was just normal for me to do that.
What was your shooting routine?
Well, I would take 1,000 shots in the summer. So I would go from spot to spot, start inside the 3-point line, and then work my way out. And by the time I finished, I would have taken 1,000 shots. And I used to chart them, chart every shot in sets of 25s. And I had to make at least 17 out of 25 in each spot. So I did that and consistently always made at least 17 or more all the time. So I still remember, still remember the routine to this day. I don't do it anymore, obviously, but I still remember it.
And you would put on those
Strength shoes.
yes.
Yeah, I would start out with those on, and then eventually lose those throughout the workout.
Explain to the listeners what those are, because those are a thing
Yeah.
of the past.
Yeah, they are. And back then, a lot of people didn't use them. Those were those platform shoes that keep you on your keep all your body weight on your toes, so it would strengthen your calf muscle. For me, it just helped. It helped with jumping ability, and it gave me the ability to be able to jump higher on my jump shots. It also increased my vertical jump, which I never showed in college, because I don't think I dunked the ball but maybe twice in 4 years, which was completely opposite of what I did in high school. I averaged 3 dunks a game. Uh, but they did help me a lot. And I started to see people wearing them later on. They didn't quite look the same, but I saw them for years, like afterwards. But then you think about it now, you never see them. You see like Vertimax and all these other different things. Now you never see that strength shoe.
Norm, you probably had more dunks than you had 3-pointers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
No
For
doubt.
sure. I only had 2 3-point attempts, and that was my senior year.
Did you make any one of those? I can't remember.
No, I was 0 for 2. I shot one in Maryland at the end of the game in the corner, and then I can't remember where the second one was.
Okay.
But you had a lot of dunks per game, I imagine.
I had a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Jerry, one of the amazing things with Norm, and we got really lucky. I guess we could try to take credit for it, but I don't know that was the case. With both Norm and before him, Junior Burrow, both of those guys had unbelievable footwork, because they were a little bit undersized, to play inside the way they did, height wise. But yet they could score on anybody, and a lot of that had to do with just their footwork. They were just so fundamentally sound, and we'd work on it with them. Pete Herman would work with Norm, but it's something that they just had, that was kind of part of their DNA, and that was a big part, I think, of allowing them to be such effective scorers in the low post.
Guys, what's your favorite memory of playing for JJ?
I think that's hard to narrow down one. Go ahead, Noah. You go first.
No, I would just say the realness. Like JJ don't pull no punches, and I'm stubborn as hell too. So especially early on, he would come with me, and I had a scowl on my face, and we would bump heads on stuff. But growing up playing basketball, I had coaches that will cuss you out and say any and everything to you, and that motivated me. You know what I mean? So when coach would jump on me about something and everything, I would get pissed off, but it was a motivational type pissed off. But he was fair with it too. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't anything malicious, but he knew how to push that button to get me fired up. So I respect that that part of it and that relationship we had. And of course, it got better my senior year because I got better over time, and each year, and it was less of that because we had other guys that JJ could mess with and everything. But it was definitely fair treatment. And like I said, he knew what buttons to push.
That's
Yeah.
one of the keys, right, JJ, is some guys you have to push harder and some guys you have to coddle a little bit.
Well, you remember when Junior was on last week? I guess it was. We talked about sometimes I'd get on Junior because it didn't affect Junior at all to try to get Yuri motivated, because if I got on Yuri that way, he'd be lost. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I thought it from my side. I don't have a lot of instances where coach actually went off on me because he didn't have to go off on me. I try to make sure that he didn't have to do that. But I just thought that one of the things that was still funny to this day to me is he would just make up curse words. I mean, he would just combine. He would get so mad he would combine curse words, and it was just, I would have to hold back from laughing at times because he was dead serious in huddles. So I'll never forget that, and I tell that story a lot when people ask me about playing for coach.
it makes me think, Kurt. One of the funny things with you and how innocent or naive you were your freshman year. The story about when you and Jason Williford.
I know.
We came start to practice, and I got word from our academic advisor.
Yeah.
Was it Vernette?
Yes.
Vernette. That Curtis and Jason Williford had.
I was in that too, Coach.
We were late.
You were in that too?
Yeah, I was in that too.
Okay, but so Curtis
We all
and
got kicked out.
Yeah, they missed class earlier in the day, and so we all got out on the court, and then I said, "You're out," So they went back, and Norm, I don't remember you being part of that, but
I don't think so.
I was definitely a part of it, Coach. It happened in the team meeting before practice.
Oh,
and
it did.
You said Norm, Jason, and Kirk.
Get the F out.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so you guys didn't go to class today, and that's when Kirk was on the bus stop talking with Jay.
I was crying. I was crying.
He was scared.
Well, you all went back to the locker room. Jason told me
Yeah.
you went back to the locker room. You were crying, and Jay was like, "Look, just relax, Jerry. This is the old vet, right?
Yeah,
Just relax. It's going to be okay." And Kirk is like, "No, but he's going to tell my parents."
Yeah.
And Jason said, "Here's what we're going to do." All right. So practice is going on. They're in the locker room. And Jay says, "We're going to take a hot tub." They had in the locker room, they had that really nice hot tub. We're going to get in the hot tub. We're going to have a nice hot tub. We'll shower. Then we'll go get something to eat, have a good meal. And then we'll apologize to JJ and, come back. And then, the next day we were all good. But that was funny how Jason was showing you the ropes.
That was tough. I mean, because for me, I thought, like Coach said, I thought he was going to call my dad, and I was going to have to hear my dad's mouth about that. And because the truth of the matter is, we didn't miss class. We were late. Pete Herman was standing at the door when we walked in, and we were like a minute late. We were like, "Coach, please don't tell on us." And he was like, he just kept looking at us and had a look on his face. And so, sure enough, I thought we got away with it because we actually got to practice. We were shooting on the floor first. Then we came back to the video part and sat down. And right before it started, that's when Coach kicked us out. And so I'm sitting there sobbing, crying. And like Coach said, Jay said what he said. But one of the things he also said was, "Man, if you don't stop all this crying, Kurt," he's like, "Do you really think that Coach can play without us? He can't win without us." He was like, so, man, stop all that crying. And I was like, "No, yes, he can too. He can. He don't need us." He said, "If you don't stop all that crying, man, I never forget that." He said, "Once we get in the hot tub, get something to eat, get back to your room, a coach is going to call you tonight. Somebody going to call you and tell you to come back to practice tomorrow." And I said, "Okay, I trust you on that." And that's what happened, but didn't feel good at the time. And Jason never lets me live that down. He tells everybody the story.
Hey, Jerry, the thing was, Kirk was getting good minutes too. I
Oh,
wasn't getting a lot of minutes at the time, so I really didn't give a damn. I was like, it is. I was like, it is what it is. But then coach told me, he said, see, you two didn't go to class, and I was going to start you two at the game on, I think it was a game on Friday or Saturday against Bethune-Cookman. It was definitely against Bethune-Cookman. And coach was like, I was going to start you two. You missed that opportunity. And I'm saying to myself, it's easier to say now, coach, since we messed up. But I know damn well we weren't starting that game.
It sounds like Jay Willie was maybe had some experience in wiggling out of trouble before.
Oh my goodness, he was hilarious. He was you know, Jay was he was the rebel of the group. You know, he was the guy that kept us all together, though. He was the guy that everybody respected very strongly and loved, but he was the guy that went against the grain on everything. You know, whatever coach said, Jay would give him a hard time. But in the end, you know, when we got on the floor, Jay got it done. You know, he was that guy that you just have to have out there. It could get you a double-double and just keep everybody together and in tune. But it was some pretty hilarious moments, battles between Jay and Coach Jones. I'll never forget those days where Coach kicked him out of practice or it was a lot of moments. So
no, my favorite with Jay Willie was, I forget who we were playing. Maybe it was an ACC game, and we were at home. We were up at half. Right before halftime, Dick Paparo, and the viewers, the older folks will remember Dick Paparo, the official.
Yeah. Called him Fro.
So he, you know, something happened, and he called a foul on Jason, and the ball bounced, and Jason acts like he's going to throw the ball at Dick. He doesn't, but he fakes him out. Paparo calls a technical on him. So, you know, my rule was you get a technical, you got to sit. So he came and you know, sat down. We go into halftime. Guys are out there shooting around, warming up, you know, for the second half. And I'm standing there just watching. And Jay comes next to me and kind of just taps me and, you know, says, you know, Coach, I'm good. I won't repeat what I said to him, but it wasn't. And he didn't play the rest of the game. So no, I would have played him if we had needed him to win. But that's always a fun one to remember, also.
Oh yeah.
Hey Jerry, I got a story for you. Since Corey said he don't do podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of things Corey doesn't do. We in practice one day and we shooting around. You know, Coach Herman is his first year with the team. So,
oh man.
So we're shooting the ball goes by Coach Herman or something. Coach Herman said something to Corey. The ball goes by and Corey looks at Coach Herman. He said, "Hey, go get that ball. I don't talk to assistant coaches." And Coach Herman looked around. He was like, "Who is that guy talking to? Who does he think he's talking to like that?" Nah, Curtis said myself and everybody else around in practice dying laughing.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he don't talk to assistant coaches either.
Mm-hmm. That's a true story, Jerry.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Corey's a different cat.
Oh God.
I would be remiss, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers would give me some grief about this after the show if I didn't ask this question. But got to go back to that day, Curtis, that you set the UVA record on the 3-pointers with 9 against UNLV.
Mm.
If was Tark the Shark still the Vegas coach then? Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he was.
Tark wasn't the coach. It was
Rolly?
Was it Rolly Massimino? I think. Yeah, I think it was Rolly.
I know when we played him the next year and beat him out there in Vegas, that Rolly was the coach, because that
Coach, we didn't play them the next year in Vegas.
The year before they played him in Vegas.
The year before. Then it wasn't
right.
Rolly either, because Rolly got fired that year that we beat him out in Vegas.
Okay,
so yeah, Rolly recruited me. That was one of my Final 5 schools. So yeah, maybe it wasn't Rolly. I don't know who took over after Rolly.
But you didn't. There's no way you took that serious. You just took that visit just to go to Vegas and get out of Baltimore.
I didn't take the visit. I took 4 out of my 5 visits, but that was the last one. And my mom was like, "Are you really going to go to Las Vegas I was like, nah. She said, well, you ain't taking a visit. I'm like,
Okay.
damn, man, I just want to go to Vegas. I ain't never been to Vegas.
You should have overruled mom on that one, man.
Man,
Jerry, that game that Kurt hit all those threes against UNLV,
Mm,
guys were talking, trying to remember. I was so sick. I wasn't going to come to the game.
I remember.
I had the flu so bad, and Tom Perrin and the other assistant coaches basically said, you have to be there. So I rolled out of bed and I came in. I had 2 liters of fluid in an IV right before the game, and basically I can just remember. Thank goodness Kurt played great and the team played great,
Mm.
and we won comfortably. But I just sat there on the bench and was kind of in a daze. I just was trying to stay upright.
And Vegas had trouble getting there, right? Wasn't there a blizzard or something
Yeah,
going
they
on?
got there late. Yeah.
Yeah.
They I don't know. Do you remember that story about what happened before that Vegas game with me? I don't know if you remember that or not, but I won't give that whole story. But it's I just remember that game because I thought I was gonna play the worst game in the world that game. I think that game was maybe a 1 o'clock game. It was an early game.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had hardly any sleep. And so I won't talk about why I didn't have any sleep.
Normal tell us about that later.
But I was up all really late that night before in the AM hours, and I was just like, I'm just going to play horrible. And I got out there, I guess because I felt like I was going to play so bad, I focused great and I couldn't miss. So I did not think that would happen, but I'm thankful that it happened. I thought it'd be opposite of that.
What was it like? You must have been in an incredible zone, even though you weren't feeling great.
I guess it's just like they said at Muscle Memory, all those thousands of shots he kicked in that day because I was dead tired mentally. I was exhausted.
Well,
Physically, I was
that's like the
exhausted.
Jordan flu game
Yeah.
against who was it? The Trailblazers, maybe.
No,
Somebody
Utah.
when Jordan had the flu and he
Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one where he went like that.
Yeah.
No, that was the Trailblazers when he threw his hands up. The flu game was when Scotty had to help him off the court in Utah.
Yeah.
And I know that had to hurt because that altitude was crazy. I remember when we played in Utah against Iowa in the first round of that tournament. I can honestly say I've never felt that tired in my life. The first 2 minutes of the game, my legs felt like noodles. And it's funny, Iowa was pressing that whole game too, and they were subbing like every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That altitude killed me.
Mm-hmm.
Norm, what was it like from a teammate's view watching Kurt just nail 3-pointer after 3-pointer in that game?
Well, hell, Jerry, I was prepped because I saw it in practice every day.
No
Like-
surprise then.
Like we knew he could shoot, man. And the thing is, we kept going to the hot hand too. So we kept running plays for him. He kept coming off, knocking it down. And I think it was 9 in a row at one point, right? You finished what, 9 out of 10 for the game?
Yeah, I think I missed one. I think I missed one.
Yeah, but it was I think you hit the first 9 though, like it was crazy.
One thing I'll say about that is Harold he used to do a remarkable job of just getting me the ball in positions to catch and shoot. I mean, the ball was like always on time with him. And I remember another game that was I think it was maybe our sophomore year or a junior year. I'm not sure. It was down at NC State. And we had to win that game. I don't know what it was, why we had to win it, but the first half, I got hot again in the first half of that game. I didn't miss. I made my first 6 threes. So I went 6 for 6. And every pass, Harold was looking for me. Every pass was right on point. I just remember just catching and raising up and shooting, and it was just dropping. And I thought back on that. I felt the same way in that game against UNLV. It was just the balls were right there. So I have to give Harold Dean some props because he was just great at delivering good
I
shooting.
know why you had to win that game because JJ said so.
Yeah, it was a legitimate down at NC State. It was something I don't remember what it was, but we had to win that game. Do you remember that game, Coach? Or why we had to win that game? I don't
I don't know.
I don't remember. It was we'd played them once already, and we were at their place, and we had to win, and we won it.
Kurt, did
I
you
think
have you and JJ Redick ever talked about the fact that I mean, you were the NCAA all-time three-point shooter, and then
Right.
another guy from Roanoke was. I mean, that
Yeah.
you
We
think it's
never
something in
have.
the water?
We never have talked about it. We haven't talked about it. I mean, we never talked about it with one another. It's been
Yeah.
multiple times where he's talked about it to other people and it got back to me and vice versa, but we've never, talked about it together. But it's true. I mean, you go back, it started well before that with Doug Day. A lot of people don't remember Doug Day from
Radford.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, Radford. He actually was a record holder for, and in fact, that's whose record I broke, was Doug Day's record. And then for JJ to break mine was just, all those guys in that same area. A lot of really good shooters came out of that area.
something in the water, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I think we need to start a petition and rewrite the record books a little bit because I went my whole junior year and I didn't have an assist. We got close to the end of the season and Coach Herman's like, "You don't have any. You don't have any."
We call
And
Norman
then
Black
and the
Boy.
guy posed the question. He said, "Between you and June, who averaged the least assists?" And I said, "Oh, definitely I did." And he looked it up for a career. I think I was like at 0.7 and June was like at 0.9. But I think we need to reevaluate, and I need to get credit for setting those picks for Kirk to get those threes off and count those as assists.
Well, those would be hockey assists.
Oh,
Norm.
I'll take a hockey assist, Coach. I
You
went 30 games without an assist.
Junior was so happy. He was talking down in Charlottesville for the reunion weekend to somebody. He was like, after 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was, he said, "Finally found somebody with fewer assists than me."
I told him, though, I said, "June, the difference was you got the ball more than me." I said, I had Kurt, Jamal, Harold, Courtney. I said, I had a whole team full of guards. So when I got it, I had to, make the best of it. It wasn't going back out.
I tell you what, Junior's, I don't know if it's freshman or sophomore year, he literally had a handful of games where he was like 4 for 22. Or 5 for 25. I mean, he got so many shots, and I mean, he still hasn't ever met a shot that he didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Jim Hobgood from era earlier than you guys says the same. He reminds us of this all the time. He said, playing guard with Park Hill, he said, anytime you threw the ball to Park Hill, it was like a black hole because you knew it was never coming back. Sounds like you experienced some of that, Norm.
Oh yeah, well, I was a black hole, Jerry. I mean, I knew I wasn't gonna get it that often, so when I did, I had to make best of it.
That's right.
Well, hey, Norm got it enough his senior year that he averaged 20 points.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
got it a lot.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And even his junior year, really.
Yeah, my junior and senior year was pretty good. I got good touches.
Nobody complains as much as Ted Jeffries about getting the ball.
Yeah, this is true.
Let's touch on that 94-95 season, guys. Since you were honored for that this past weekend, I mean, a hell of a team, and like I said, you ended up 25-9. What was your best memories of that season? I'm sure a lot of it was the last two games, but I mean, that's just an incredible season overall.
I mean, for me, two games stand out the most. Because we were freshmen that year, and just to experience the first game was a Carolina game at home. I believe they were ranked. I don't know. They were ranked 2 or 3 in the country. I'm not sure at that time. They were up there, and we beat them at home, and it was electric. The place was jumping, and just one of those memories, those thoughts that never leave my mind. And then beating Kansas in the Sweet 16 to advance to the Elite Eight, and Kemp Arena basically was a home game for them, and that win, those two wins stood out the most for me that year.
Yeah, and they were obviously the top seed in the region, too, Midwest region, and for you guys to beat them on essentially their second home court. That was
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
remarkable.
Yeah, I think first the camaraderie with the team. That senior class were elite leaders. Um, they took us under their wing and everything, embraced us. We had a large freshman class that year as well. I think 5 or 6 of us. But definitely the camaraderie. We played hard every game, and what was memorable for me was just watching Junior get hot at the end of the season between the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, and he cooked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was one of the most impressive runs, even to this day, that I can remember in the postseason of what he put on. He cooked. Oh man, it was crazy. Like Coach talk about footwork, it was insane.
Yeah. He and Junior and Randolph Childress had unbelievable ACC tournaments that year.
Oh yeah.
If it hadn't been for Randolph, and them winning the tournament, right? I think juniors would have been, thought of as being more spectacular, but Randolph was even better, as good as junior was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all the writers were writing a lot about Junior down the home stretch of that season because he that was a season to remember just because the way he finished it. You were right. That was a hell of a ride. He just kind of put you guys on his shoulders and took off.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Hey guys, what about you mentioned those 2 games, which were very good wins, but what about at Duke that
Oh,
year?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was crazy.
That was another crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game was the first time where, I think we were all terrified going into the locker room at halftime, uh, because we knew that coach was just going to lose it, and they had a right to lose it. So we had already had some tongue lashings in games that weren't even that bad, but we got in there at halftime and he didn't do it. It was kind of the reverse effect. He didn't go off on us. So it made everybody even more nervous, about it. So, we sat back and I think Corey got everybody in the circle and just said, hey, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out and we're gonna play together. I'm gonna go at my guy and and we just gonna take turns. And we're gonna get back in this game. We're gonna win this game. And so we believed it. We believed it. And sure enough, that's what happened. It just was kind of like, he ignited it. Corey started it. Junior got hot. Harold got hot. Then I started getting hot. And that was kind of a coming out game for me. I hadn't really played well, I mean, that great prior to that game. That was kind of a coming out party for me. I think was that our first ACC game or one of the first
No,
games?
it was like a third or fourth
Okay.
ACC game because Duke had started. They were 0-3 going into that game, and that's when Coach K had the back injury and everything.
Okay.
But every good team can find a certain point in the year where you can say this moment galvanized the team, and this is when we had our breakthrough. Because if you look at the beginning part of that season, we played ODU, if I'm not mistaken, was it preseason in IT or something? And they played us super, super, super tough.
Yeah.
And then we played Miami of Ohio.
Ohio
U, right, with Gary Trent, and they beat us.
They beat us, yeah.
And then Coach took the locker room away from us and put us in I-40 down the hall that was just bare walls.
He mentioned that last week.
Yeah, so he took our locker room away. So when you look at how that season started, and based off of the preseason, accolades and talk around the team, I would say that Duke game is the game that brought it all together when we really started to make that run. I can't remember what our record was in the ACC up until that game, but I know Duke was struggling. So to be down, I mean, the score at halftime was 40-19. We were down 21 at the half, which was good. In fact, we only scored 19 points the first half. It's crazy. And then to win it in triple overtime. And then, that was Curtis and myself's first time playing in Cameron. It was insane. And I just remember being in the huddles and you couldn't hear nothing because the Duke students and fans sit right behind the bench and they're just yelling and screaming in the huddle. I remember the uniforms were soaked at the end of the game. So I think that was the turning point in our season, that Duke game.
Yeah, you guys won 91-88, and you were 3-0 in the ACC coming into that.
Okay.
That was the first game. We played 3 guards in that second half. Also played Harold, Curtis, and Corey.
Corey. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that the toughest place to play during your careers?
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the loudest. I mean, let's be honest, Jerry, and talk why it was tough. Because they get a little home cooking in there. That's why it was tough.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Seems
yeah,
that way.
definitely get the whistle. It's I don't know. It was other places that was hard, but I would say that probably was the toughest. I mean, you couldn't hear in that old NC State building. It was hard to
Yeah.
hear. I
Reynolds.
remember that. Yeah, it's really hard to hear, but Duke was probably toughest.
Yep.
Well, JJ mentioned this last week with Junior and when he took the locker room away from you guys. What did you guys think? And Corey had the best reaction of everybody.
I don't remember a lot about that. It didn't bother me as much because I came from Oak Hill and out that locker room that he put us in was still better than the one we had. So it didn't matter to me.
What Jerry's talking about is we were in I-40, and I said it was after we lost to Ohio, I think. But I said, why do you guys think that we're in here?
Right.
And I was hoping that somebody was going to say something like, we don't deserve, they had this really nice, new, luxurious locker room and all that, and that we didn't deserve it. And Corey raises his hand and said, they're doing construction or something.
Yeah, we get the new locker room or something.
Let's we can just touch on what you guys, a lot of Cavalier fans like to keep up with you guys and haven't probably followed you since you left school a whole lot. I know, Kurt, you were a great high school coach in Tennessee for a long time. Both of you
And
guys,
Virginia.
Yeah, I was about to say he's great in Virginia too.
well, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Just tell people a little bit about what you've done since leaving Virginia and what you're doing now and where you're living now.
You want to go, Noah? You got it.
Go ahead, Norm.
Okay.
You go first.
Well, after Virginia, Jerry, I was fortunate enough to play 15 years pro ball all over the world. Retired from that in 2013. Had a great time. Got a chance to see a lot of great places. I would say the toughest thing is trying to remember what year I played where.
Yeah.
I have to count backwards because, I did full seasons and then I did like summer seasons in certain places that were off season leagues in like Puerto Rico and other countries. And then my wife took a job in California, in Orange County. So we moved out here in 2014 and I got into player development. I'm not cut out for corporate America. So we all know that. And I had to do something for myself. So I got into player development and just started, with a few kids, and it's been spreading word of mouth. And then a couple years ago, a buddy of mine who I played with in Jordan is from this area, and he started a youth club program in Laguna Beach because he went to Laguna Beach High School. And him and I are like-minded, and he asked me to come and join and let's run it together. So we got a program in Laguna Beach, small community, really nice community. That's a feeder program for the high school. So prepping and preparing the kids to get ready for high school basketball. And I would say we have 40 some kids in the program. We run it year round. Great families, great kids. So, keeps me busy. And I play a lot of golf.
I was going to say, Jerry, ask me about
And
his
when I
golf
say,
game.
yeah, when I say a lot of golf, I play a lot of golf. I play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like clockwork, and any other days in between that I get an invite for. So
And what's your handicap?
right now I'm about an 8, but I've gotten as low as a 4.6. I'm in winter golf right now.
That's pretty good. That's pretty darn
That's not
good.
too bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
You actually might be cut out for corporate America, Norm.
Nah, coach, I cuss too many people out, bro.
Oh man.
When Pinky comes home and tells me what she's dealing with, I'm like, babe, you got to say this, you got to do that. She be like, no, babe, I can't say that. I'm like, well, now you see why I don't work nowhere.
Oh my goodness, that's very true. For me, like you touched on it already, Jerry. The last what 16, 17 years I was a coach in Virginia, started in Virginia and then moved to Tennessee and I was fortunate enough to coach a lot of really good players but I don't miss it at all. It was one of those things where I didn't really see it as I never thought I would become a coach. It kind of just happened. Um, a guy that graduated from Virginia was looking for somebody to help revamp the private school that I started at in Virginia, and he wanted me to come in and help him find coaches for different programs. It just so happened a basketball coach there was a vacancy there, and I was trying to fill it with somebody else, and he kind of persuaded me to do it, and I did it, and we had great success, and it just kind of started there and snowballed. And so I'm thankful for that, very thankful. But now I'm actually scouting for the Detroit Pistons and enjoying that a lot. I scout college and the NBA both.
So you stay on the road a lot.
Yes, but it's been pretty they allow me to set my schedule. In most cases, there's sometimes where I'm not allowed to. They'll give me some games, but most of the time I'm gone 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and I'm back on Thursday night, for the weekend. So it's not too bad right now. I'm at a point where I'm off the road for this week and all of next week. Well, till the very end of the month. So it's been a good time just to be able to watch games from here and scout from home. And home for me now is in Central Florida. I live in Haines City, Florida, right in between Orlando and Tampa.
Cool place. Um, running close to the end, but what are your impressions of this year's Virginia team? They're off to a great start. Play at SMU tomorrow afternoon. Another big road game, but coming off a huge win at Louisville and won 4 straight ACC games by pretty good margins.
One word comes to mind is exciting. I mean, they're exciting to watch. Um, they have a lot of players that can create for themselves and create for others. Um, the ball doesn't stick, very unselfish. Uh, I think they play great defensively. They play hard. They shoot the ball really well. Um, and everybody knows their role. No one is really trying to do more than they can do. And that's a lot of credit to Ryan and his staff because that's a whole new team. I mean, I can't think of 2 guys on that team that played together. So to try to mesh 15 new guys is freaking tough, especially to do it in a season. And they're still, they still have, still a half a season to go and they're clicking like that is it's amazing. So it shows the type of players that he recruited and how they all bought in and just what the staff is doing to get them to buy in and I guess the respect level that the players have for the coaches and the belief in them. Um, I was impressed. I was definitely impressed.
Yeah, I would echo everything Norm said. I don't have to recreate it. He said everything that I feel as well. So just really excited for the program and the future and the direction it's headed in. Ron's done a great job, and I know he'll continue to do that.
Jerry, I find it very interesting, what these two guys just got through saying. And you can look around the country in this age of talent procurement and putting together a roster every single year, and getting very, very similar to the NBA model, without a GM that so many programs have in college basketball. I think that, and maybe they just got lucky. I don't know, but not just from a talent standpoint, but from an attitude standpoint, from a kind of being a good team player, buying in standpoint. Somebody or a collection of somebody did an amazing job, at UVA, because that group, and I'm watching a lot of basketball, being on that NIT committee and stuff, but these guys fit together really, really well. Whoever did those evaluations, and again, I'm sure it was a team effort. Whoever did those evaluations did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Because finding, I mean, there's like 4 of them that were the leading scorers on their team. Whatever it was, Jakari and Malik Thomas. Dallin probably wasn't the leading scorer, but he was a big part of at BYU. Tess was a pro player. He actually wasn't a big scorer, but to find those pieces and put them in a place where they are now, and I think they'll continue getting better. Big thing is just staying healthy, but how hard they play. Norm talked about the ball moving and sharing the basketball. Being willing to play roles and nobody trying to do too much. And even if you're the leading scorer, you think of yourself as a scorer. Those guys understand that they better play hard defensively, or else they're not going to be out there. So it's kind of cool, and hopefully they can stay healthy and keep it going. Tomorrow night or tomorrow, I don't know what time the game is. That's a big one. I mean, that's another quad one opportunity for them at SMU. Obviously SMU has beaten Virginia Tech on a half court shot. They beat North Carolina when North Carolina went in there. If somehow or another Virginia can find a way to win, that's another nice feather in their cap, not just for the ACC race, but for the NCAA tournament. And what all these teams at the top of the NCAA these days, you're playing for seeding. It's hard without a good seed. It's hard to make your way, deep into the tournament. So, all of these games are really, really important, and the SMU game is a huge game in terms of an opportunity.
I totally
So
agree.
Jerry, like Coach said, man, I mean, most of these guys they got were dudes on the teams that they played on.
Yeah.
So to sacrifice and put your ego aside, for the collective of the group, man, it speaks volumes to the type of guys that they recruited and brought in, the type of players that they are, because it takes a lot to put your ego aside and say, okay, I was leading scorer wherever I'm coming from, and now I gotta, I might be second or third here.
It also
But
takes a lot of
no,
money now too, Norm.
it does take a lot of money, Kurt. I mean, between the money and all the perks and everything, and you can take
Right.
classes online. I don't think we would have ever got kicked out of practice that
No,
day.
hey, Coach would have been telling me to send cars back. Remember
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hey, Coach,
Yeah.
you made a comment, and I'm gonna piggyback on that comment. I'm gonna take this time to endorse my guy when you said all the other schools had GMs, and we don't know who did it at UVA, but they did it collectively. I'm going to nominate my man, Mr. Staples, as the next GM at UVA, and I'm putting it out there now to all our listeners. You're right, we don't have one. I know there's been some action and everything, and like you said, they've done a good job. But when it comes time to make that decision, I got my man's back.
I appreciate that, Norm. That's a great plug.
Absolutely. Great endorsement there, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, what a great way to end the show. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedules. I know you guys are got a lot to do. Norm, you got to get back out on the golf course.
Oh, I already played this morning.
You already played
Jerry,
today.
I already played this morning. I
It's
played well.
it's too hot out there for Norm to play right now. It's what
No, it's not too
85
hot.
now.
I'm an early morning guy, though. I like to get out while I still dew on the ground.
There you go. Well, send some of that sunshine back to Virginia, you two guys.
Hey, I'm trying.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And we'll see you next week here on the Hootie and JJ Show. Godspeed. Thank you for tuning in. And we wish our guests a happy new year and great success. We'll see you
Thanks.
guys down the road.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Go Hoos.